Let's talk about progressive slot machines, including how to win on them. There's been so many changes to them lately. You've seen that, right? Fewer of the life changing multi casino progressive jackpots, yet every video slot machine has progressive grand, major, minor, mini, constantly increasing in value as bets are made until they increase in size until someone wins it. Or do they? Let's go over what's going on so we know how to win at both kinds of progressive slot machines. And there has been a few donations already. First up is Magpie 11. I'll show that. And Magpie says, "Good morning, winners," in her super chat. Thank you so much, Magpie 11, for your support of the show, and which allows me to keep having them. Also, I want to thank Chuck. Chuck has wished everybody a happy Halloween. I was going to say that. Some people have already celebrated yesterday, and of course the actual date is tomorrow. So that's absolutely happy Halloween. Okay, so I thank everybody for the donations, and let's put that away. Lately, progressive slot machines have become quite popular. I should say even more popular. Only 5 years ago, they were 30% of all slot machines within a casino. Now it's closer to 100% of all the video slot machines. I'm sure you've seen those video slot machines with major, minor, and other jackpots that constantly grow. Even though not obviously labeled as such, those are progressive slot machines. I'll have a picture. Well, actually, I'll show it now, which is to show you here. Yes. So this is one of those video slot machines that has progressive jackpots, like most of them do now. They've been switching out, and this is also a multi-denomination machine where 1 penny, 1 cent has been chosen as a denomination. So along the far right side is 2 minis and a minor. And with this game, if you stack up a certain symbol in the entire column, and it's hardest to get the one on the far right because there's more symbols, then you get everything in that column. And so here I won $200, a $200 bet. Because I'd done that on that single column. Now, there's several progressive jackpots they have different names sometimes: grand, major, minor. This one has a mega. Let's see. Yes, mega as the top jackpot. Major, which is hardly any less than that. And then there's minors and minis, but those are fixed amounts, so technically not progressives. So I didn't win progressive jackpots. I won these 2 mini and minor, 2 minis, 2 minors, and 1 mini. So that was what, $120 of the $200. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that you had an idea of what this all looks like on a slot machine. I have some other things to show you in a moment, so let me come back. Right. So there's a lot to learn from that picture. At a 500, I made a $500 500 credit bet on a penny denomination video slot machine. That's a $5 bet. Maximum bet. And the mega and major jackpots, like I said, are constantly climbing due to bets on a network of slot machines. However, the minor and the mini jackpots are not progressive, but rather stay constant without increasing. A slot machine is considered progressive when a portion of the bets placed on it go towards increasing its maximum jackpot and perhaps other jackpots, but not all of them. When the machine is initiated, which is kind of a technical term, such as when first started or after the progressive jackpot has been won, a progressive slot machine has a non-zero initial amount. So starting with this initial jackpot, it progressively grows as the slot machine is played. The progressive jackpot increases by a percentage of whatever is bet. Just as an example, a $1 bet may increase the progressive jackpot by 25 cents. One of the top progressive jackpot by 25 cents. Bet sizes and corresponding increases of the various progressive jackpots on a single machine is an important topic, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Make sure you stick around for that. It won't be long. A common misconception is that progressive slot machines always include a group of slot machines with a shared jackpot. Instead, it's not uncommon for a progressive jackpot to be available only on a single slot machine. A group of progressive slot machines can be networked together, yes. However, the physical extent of a network of machines included in a progressive jackpot can vary widely, including standalone, which is a single slot machine which grows its own progressive jackpots only and is not networked to any other slot machines and likely has the smallest maximum jackpot amount relative to networked progressive slot machines. There's an in-house network meaning only within the casino you're at, where the slot machines have the same slot machine game theme within the casino and more substantial, if not life-changing, maximum jackpots. Then there's also in-chain, which is the casino operator has multiple casinos, perhaps, and within the chain, these are networked within those casinos. And these slot machines usually have the same slot machine game theme within all the gaming venues owned by the same casino operator within states having gaming regulations that allow this. Then there's the wide area. This is the big life-changing jackpots. This is the ones you hear about in the news where casinos win. They lost a lot of money, and therefore they want to advertise these wins, these very difficult wins to help people. So slot machines owned independently from the casinos they are located within. That means to say it's usually owned by the slot machine manufacturer, and they push these out to a bunch of different casino operators, perhaps statewide. So it has a maximum jackpot, which is massive. I mean, large. I mean, life-changing. Each casino gets a percent, tens of millions. Each casino gets a percentage of the slot machine revenue from it, but it has a payout return which is lowest of all other slot machines due to the relatively high setup and administrative costs. And we'll get a little bit into that about how what's going on with those kinds of machines. It used to be the only kind of progressive slot machines that were available. And there's still some in some casinos, but now it's become these video slot machines that are progressives, and they're only within the casino, perhaps even standalone. So first we'll talk about Magpie 11 says like Megabucks, exactly like Megabucks. So why don't I bring up that so we can talk about that right now. And so this is a particular brand of popular large-scale progressive machine game theme. It's called Megabucks, and there's some pictures available, but I'm going to stick with this. We talked about return statistics, right? We talked about how 6 states, this is and other live streams, I've gone over this, 6 U.S. states provide return statistics by slot machine denomination. Well, sometimes it's more than just the denomination, and I'll show you a couple of examples. One of them here is that I'm showing is lots of numbers. I'm sorry if you're on a small phone. What I'm trying to point out here, and maybe I can try to highlight this for you, is one particular line here where I want to show you under slot machines, there is a line item called Megabucks. Right there. So this is in all locations statewide in Nevada from the Gaming Commission. And if you look at Megabucks, you have a return of 13.8%. Now this return is the casino win percent, often called the hold percent. So one 100 minus that. So this would be, I am doing math in my head, 86% would be the return here. But where penny machines normally are like 90%. So it is far lower. 4%, nearly 4% it's a big difference. 2.5% is worthy of a backflip if it improves, and it's reason to be sad if it's that much lower. So 4% is just boom. So yeah, and there's this first group over on the left is for December 2019. The Nevada Gaming Commission has decided to not get rid of Megabucks, but they decided not to give it its own line item. So eventually they stopped doing this. You have to go back to about 2019, a little more than a year and a half ago, is when they last started reporting these. But in 2019, they'd been reporting them for a while. So you have the month, December 2019, the last 3 months, which has almost exactly the same return. And then you have the yearly average. So what that tells me is somewhere in that year, because the yearly average, the last 12 months, all of 2019, was a little bit better odds, means that sometime that year somebody won. And that's it. Not twice, once. And that's how poor the odds are. So let me switch back to introducing you to the whole concept here. But yes, Magpie 11, like Megabucks. So each casino gets a percentage of the revenue, but they also have high setup cost. So let's talk about wide area progressives, these Megabucks, and there's other brands, other game themes, but let's talk about wide area progressives. It's unlikely to be the direction that you might go, but it is possible. However, I thought it was a clearer way to say what we want to do on standalone machines. It's just a clear presentation of the concept of the strategy. So I'll go over that first, and then we'll start talking about what we're likely to do or do. I know some are in the live chat. I want to acknowledge Kevin for his help in understanding some of the things about progressives that only a specialist would know. So wide area progressives. These are the original progressive slot machines spread across the casino with significant jackpots in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, or spread across the entire gaming jurisdictions like Megabucks in Nevada with its life-changing progressive jackpot in the tens of millions of dollars. Second, and this is where I'm spend most of my time today in this live stream, we'll talk about the far more common standalone and in-house progressive machines. But let me check in with, before we go over that, let me check in quickly with the live chat and see if I've missed too much. I think we had some initial conversations. Everybody's saying hello, wonderful. I so enjoy the community that's in the live chat. If you're watching this later, there is a huge difference between being here live, who knows what I might say next, and seeing the live chat. The live chat is not available with the recording. It's only available during the actual live stream. Hello, Big Dog from San Antonio, Texas. Yes. Did you, okay, people are talking. New to the chat, does the time of the month you play determine how much you win? Time of the month. That's a very good question. I don't really consider the month to be high priority. I think the end of the quarter, right? The end of the third month in each quarter year. January, February, March, April, May, June, because that's matches what you might see with casino financial reports. Yes, there's a monthly thing, but the quarterly seems to be more aggressive. Yes, December 31st is a end of the month, but it's also the end of the quarter and the end of the year. So that's something to watch for, and it's not too much further away, 2 months away. So that's something to watch for. Now, is it good or is it bad? And maybe I should have a live stream on this topic at some point. I've been more concerned about, the run up to the end of the quarter is a very interesting time. We saw a lot of that when casinos shut down in the middle of the month during the pandemic, and had to reopen and just got in trouble because they have to meet their legal requirements. And sometimes they make last minute changes to be able to do that. So it kind of depends on whether or not they're doing okay. If they're not doing okay for the month, on which direction they go at the end of the month. But maybe you've noticed, not many people at the casino during events, which means maybe things aren't going so well for them, or everything's tight, which means maybe everything's going okay. And so they want to loose it up at the end of the month because they've got extra. It's a matter of an evaluation. But I think whatever you're looking for, it's small on the end of a random month, but more of an effect that you might take advantage of on the end of a quarter and certainly the end of the year. Something else to remember is the end of the year is September 30th. That's a fiscal year, and that sometimes that matters more than the end of the calendar year. Okay. We have saboteurs. Okay. Addie. Okay, so let me show you my intern. I have a photo. I have a question from Adi. You are an icon among my college friends. We want an internship. Well, I will show you a photo of my interns, or rather, my one intern. Here you go. This is my intern. He is full of energy. He doesn't really know how to do much, but man, is he enthusiastic. I've had interns, and he matches. So this is him from yesterday on when they were celebrating Halloween, where I take him for daycare. And puppy kindergarten. He's 5 months old as of earlier in the week. And I wanted to share that with you at some point during the live stream. People ask how he's doing, and he's doing great. As you can see, smiling faces. That's the first thing my vet notices. Right, so Chuck says, what are the saboteurs up to? Which ones? The Facebook scammers that I try to make sure I weed out. Facebook has been growing for me, doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled since June 1st. And so I don't think we'll make 20,000 by the end of this month. Something happened Thursday. It might have something to do with Facebook announcement, might have something to do with the scammers making a nuisance of themselves in the 3 minutes before I could, boot them off. And I appreciate a gentleman wanted to improve his pet salon business in whatever hometown he's in, but it is my national or global Facebook group, so I'm not sure what that was. So if you could be more specific about the saboteurs, Chuck, I'd like to. I'll be able to be more specific in my answer. Right. So Malibu Sky will come to some of that, and Paula says, and everybody say, ah. Yes, he is lethally cute. He's only getting cuter. Okay. So I think we've satisfied this. Oh, sorry, the saboteurs. Yes, Chuck was asking about the cats. I have a Slots Enthusiasts Growth Network, and we have our own YouTube, or rather Zoom meeting where everybody's seen. And this on Thursday nights, Q&As and social hours and all that. And I'll talk later about how you might join that if you want to. But it's um, Thursday night, my cats were running around, and one hit the power button for the internet server, internet modem. So I was gone, and I managed to get back like 15 minutes later, and they're still having their meeting, and they're still having their discussion. Oh, he's back. So yes, the saboteurs. I just in case I separated them, and now we'll be doing that now, and so they are. I don't know which one's the instigator. They're like a year and a half old, and I hope in a year and a half they'll grow out of it as they mature. Rescue cats, you get what you get. Right. So uh, and so let's get back to the thanks to all those who have signed up for my course, 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win. If we push that button and go here, I'll show you what that looks like. So this is my webpage, professorslots.com. If you go to professorslots.com/30 days, either 30-days or 30 without a dash days and other combinations, this is where you'll find my new landing page, where I think if you've been in the live stream before, you've seen my landing page that I had before. It was just small, had useful information, but it was small. This is not small. This has testimonials. It has a link to where you'd go to the course, my welcome, what's going on, testimonial, what really is going on with the slots enthusiasts, what they're trying to do, what's the current casino industry trying to do to them, and how that interaction leads to advantage plays. And I go about the misconceptions that are out there. I don't know of any other educational slots channels. There are a couple that have a few things, but top 10 reasons, but like 3 and 4 and 7 are the same thing. They're just expressed differently. So you got this really, people aren't investing in trying to provide that kind of content. They just want to make money, which is great. But then it leads to consequences, like a lot of misconceptions out there. So I talk about what people normally think about and why that's we have to correct that, and in order to be able to win, because if your premise is wrong, then your strategy isn't working. And how much has changed. So I have had a lot of interactions with individuals, slots enthusiasts, and help them, and I put that content together to provide a course. And more, so each section of the course is shown here, some concepts, what will be covered, the name of them, and the first thing is foundational work, so you understand what the slot strategies, of which today's live stream is about. One of them, strategy 2, progressive slot machine jackpots, and then what comes after that. And I talked a little bit about the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network. Links to both the course and to the Growth Network are in the video description of this live stream. So, and there's the current cost. It's 50% off, $100 off. And so feel free to click on this link at professorslots.com/30 days in order to get into the course, and perhaps even you get unlimited lifetime access and all that. So I wanted to make sure I share that with you. Hundreds of people are taking the course, have taken the course since I started offering it early in May. All right. So also, let's see. So let's keep moving forward with how to win on slot machines with progressive jackpots. There are effectively 2 ways of winning on progressive jackpots. You can treat it like a non-progressive slot machine and try to win at smaller non-progressive jackpots, which is what I did when I was showing you this picture a few seconds ago here. So these are fixed amounts on the minor and the mini, and I won 2 minors and a mini, which is great, but that was not the progressive I did not know what the must hit by, we'll talk about these concepts, are for the mega and the major. So I was just playing the machine for the non-progressive jackpots. That's one way you can play these machines. Just ignore the progressives. But you can also choose to deliberately try to win one of its progressive jackpots. And so let's talk about that. In taking the first approach to just win whatever, not necessarily the progressive jackpot, you can use my other winning slot strategies. However, be aware having and maintaining networked slot machines includes an administrative cost passed down to players of these machines. You can see this for yourself in the June 2020, not June, June, was it June? Sharing again to the, not the Nevada, but the Mississippi September 2021 return statistics, the most recently available. That's last month. And you can see it linked in the video description again. And you can see the return statistics. This is the only state returns that are not only divided by denomination, but whether or not they have progressive machines. And just to be clear here, see if I can do this without showing my dog again. Right, so this is the map of Mississippi, and the state returns from Mississippi's Gaming Commission are not by casino, they're by state region, of which there are three: the northern region, the central region, and the coastal region. And plus there's a few tribal casinos which don't have return statistic reports. So over here on the left is the northern region, below that the central region, and then over here on the right at the bottom half is the coastal region, including Biloxi. So if we look at the return statistics for the central region, we have overall for the region, and I plotted some of this data for you when we were going over state returns, but I'm actually showing you the return for September. And if you look at this, you can see penny machines have, and this is the win percent for the casino. So the higher the number, the better for the casino. The lower the number, the better for you. Right. So, and Cold Hippo has asked me to show you guys how to win by showing my gameplay. He doesn't seem to understand that choosing the slot machine is how you win. And when you play it is how to win. So I can't show you myself walking through a casino and finding the slot machine. No casino will ever allow that due to privacy concerns. Anyway, it's a question I get sometimes. So we have dollar progressives. I think I might be able to highlight this just a little better for you guys. Penny progressives are better than see higher. So the pennies. If you go to Mississippi Central region, and if you play a penny machine, play the ones that are not progressive, of which there are 2,500, rather than the 835 penny progressive machines. Now, let's go in dollars. Are very, very similar. Dollar machines versus dollar progressive machines are very, very similar. But now we can go to do that and go to the coastal region here, and we will look at pennies here. And again, it's better to play the non-progressive pennies than it is to play the progressive. So you're seeing the effect of networking costs, administrative costs for having a progressive machine. You are being billed for that capability. And you can see that in the return statistics. But it's not always the case. Here you can see you got nearly a 1 percentage point better return on nickel progressives, but you can see that there are far more of the non-progressive machines. So it's something to kind of watch for. Dimes. Look at the how much better dime progressives are. And so sometimes it's not passed on to you. It is better for the quarter progressives than the quarters, and dollars. It's much worse for the dollar progressives than it is for the dollars. So this is the sort of thing where, and oh my goodness, look at the difference between the $5 and the $5 progressive. It's so much worse for the $5 progressive. And this is where casinos will make money back. But if you check these returns, and if you see month after month that the $5 is far better than the $5 progressive, then you can make the assumption that the next month is going to be the same. Again, this is not about being random. This is the casino choosing what odds to place on which machines, and they hit their business metrics, performance metrics. You can see all that very clearly when you start looking at month after month on these, as I've reported out. Okay, so one last one. Let's go to the northern region. And again, you've got these progressives versus non-progressive versions. Come on, mouse work. Mouse. I think it might be the cat here. In any case, so penny progressives, so much better than you know, on the penny machines rather than the penny progressive. So this is the sort of thing that if your state has these, if you're in one of the 6 states that has these, then you'll be able to look at this stuff. But not everybody has that. So this is all leading into the elements of what we're going to talk about here. So if you're going to go for not going for the progressive jackpots, use my strategies. And you know, if your state has return statistics, well, only Mississippi divides out the progressives from the non-progressives. So you know, we could certainly wish for a lot more of that in other states, but you get what you get, right? So that is seen, as I've already shown, to be just dramatic for Megabucks in Las Vegas. Not that they show that anymore. They used to have a separate line item ended about a year and a half ago. Now it's all merged in with whatever the denomination of a Megabucks machine is. And that's what you see in Nevada. But before they did that, and no doubt still because of the huge administrative cost, it's not the machine to play. We saw on 2019, there might have been one win the whole year, which caused that bump in return statistics for the year, but not, and you can find out which month it was. If you look at each of the months in 2019, find the one that had this spiked return. If it spiked twice in 2 different months, then it happened twice, where somebody won tens of millions of dollars. Or you can just check the Las Vegas Sun and see when they report it happened. So this is the original type of progressive slot machines that used to be the only thing available until, well, fairly recently. Where now we've seen a lot of changes in the last 5 years where you get these standalone. One of the difficulties that's currently there for casinos is that when you've got a network across multiple casino owners and run by the slot machine manufacturer, any one of those other casinos could object to a win, and it doesn't really harm them if it happened at another casino. You could really mess with your competitors that way, and you know, for no good reason. And even if you do win, it takes what, 8 hours to find out if you're going to get your jackpot if you're the winner. It's just all that administrative processing. Everybody has to be woken up in the middle of the night or whatever, and so you're waiting in a room 8 hours unexpectedly at the casino, waiting to find out if you actually won what you think you won. So this is all progressive jackpots, and I'll move on. But one of the things I did want to mention, and I have mentioned before in gaming terms, playing slots isn't a negative EV gain a game. It isn't. It's a term that's used. Basically, most people lose at slots. That's true, but most people lose at poker too, right? But one person always wins at a poker tournament. That means poker isn't a negative EV gain game. They're very much like playing slots. You can win at slots. Not to get too far off track here, but casinos make most of the revenue from slot machines. Lots of players need to lose for casinos to stay open. So that's what's going to happen. So what's going to happen if or when I grow to 10 million subscribers on YouTube and say 10% of slot players at a casino are using my strategies, like today's strategy on progressive jackpots, to win. Currently, the largest slots channel on YouTube is about viewers watching others win. We had a comment about me doing that too and being last in line, where it isn't educational anymore, but it's the other thing that's popular right now. But it's not that popular. It just seems that way. Some people who want to watch other people win limits how many slots enthusiasts care to watch that sort of thing. So the largest slots channel hasn't even hit 500,000 subscribers after 8 years of hard work. And congratulations to Brian Christopher and his partner on their recent naturalization into U.S. citizens. That's wonderful to hear. Anyway, lots of other YouTube slots channels in other areas have 10 million subscribers or more. Not slots though, not yet. But I'm just getting started, and I'll have, I'm all about teaching slots enthusiasts how to win themselves. I'm helping to get them moving forward on their slots journey, sometimes after being stuck in the mud of losing for years. And there are a lot more slots enthusiasts who want to win for themselves than want to just watch others win. There's a lot more that want to win. So moving forward ourselves, let's talk about how to win progressive jackpots. I'll start with wide area progressives and explain the concept. I mostly did, but then we'll switch over to standalone and in-house progressive machines in a moment. Winning progressive jackpots is simple, but neither quick nor entirely easy. In general, winning the maximum jackpot and any slot machine is a truly rare event. We saw that in the data. Yes, I did it once myself. That was for progressive jackpots, but for non-progressive jackpots, I won the top jackpot 15 years ago on one slot machine. Yeah, it was a quarter machine, 3 credits, so I won $1,000, 400 credits. That wasn't even a hand pay. But unless a specific strategy is being employed, and I'm so proud of that, a top jackpot on a slot machine, who does that? But unless a specific strategy is being employed, slot enthusiasts should more or less ignore this possibility as nothing other than a once-in-a-lifetime event. But the key here is unless a specific strategy is being employed. So here's how to win a progressive jackpot on a progressive slot machine. Play it as it approaches the maximum progressive jackpot allowed when it must pay out. Now, there's a lot to that. The not entirely easy aspect of this winning strategy is that doing so takes a lot of patience. Why? Because you need to figure out what that maximum limit is, which means watching others win on that progressive jackpot a bunch of times. The smaller the network the progressive jackpot is a part of, the smaller the progressive jackpot, and the easier it is to figure out its maximum. However, your payout will be smaller, yet that payout often comes sooner than and is more likely. The larger the network, the bigger the progressive jackpot, the longer you'll need to observe to learn the maximum jackpot, and everyone playing at the same time, which can be a lot of people, has an equal chance. How much do they never go under? How much do they never seem to go over? Based on observations at my local casinos, a standalone progressive quarter machine might reset to $1,000 and have its maximum at $1,200. Why is it, what is it for others? Well, that's what you'll need to learn. Again, this is the not entirely easy part. How do you proceed? First, pick a collection of progressive slot machines you pass by regularly. You're looking for different networks of progressive slot machines on which you can afford to eventually make maximum bets. Every time you pass by, note the size of its progressive jackpots. If the jackpot has decreased, someone won, so your last noted jackpot size was a possible maximum. As time goes by and you see it again later, keep noting the jackpot size. When the jackpot next decreases, compare your last noted jackpot to your temporary maximum from before to see if you have a new maximum. Do this as many as a half a dozen times per progressive jackpot per slot machine. Be aware your observations could take 6 months to accomplish. Depends how much you go to the casino. This is where patience is key. However, doing this at the same time for most progressive slot machine networks in a single casino is highly efficient. Why? Because at the end of the 6 or so months, you've got a good idea of the maximum jackpot for every one of them. However, I recognize that 6 months is a lot of time before you know enough to start winning progressive jackpots. That 6 months is an investment. Another way to look at this is to realize that slot enthusiasts winning progressive jackpots are specialists. They've specialized in winning progressive jackpots. That's their advantage play. Within this specialized area of slots play, there are two groups at work. First are those that focus on in-chain or wide area progressive jackpots with significant or life-changing jackpots. This subgroup does everything just described to find a progressive jackpot that's ripe for the picking, then put together a team to play as many machines in its network as possible to have the best chance of winning millions of dollars. If this sounds like a business, it is. Whether you're using gentlemen's agreements or contracts, working with a team of dedicated slots enthusiasts specializing in winning massive progressive jackpots has a lot of logistics involved. The bigger the team, the more seats will be taken on machines in the network of this progressive jackpot. But the bigger the team, then more than massive jackpot will be divided up to each member of the team, perhaps not equally. Yet that's how all this works for those massive progressive jackpots. You can use the same basic approach for standalone and in-house progressive jackpots, but then the entire team might just be you, or maybe you and your spouse, and perhaps a few others. Yes, the progressive jackpot one will not be massive, but perhaps your individual share would be larger than it would have been if you'd been on that large team going after a life-changing progressive jackpot. For either approach to work with progressive slot machines, they need to be on a specific kind of progressive machine. We have to discuss this. Whether the progressive jackpot is relatively small or massive, the many, many visits needed to invest in this strategy only works at a casino with a certain progressive jackpot setup. The casino's progressive needs to be of the must-win by variety. It's like the lottery. If no one wins, the progressive gets large. The jackpot gets larger for the next drawing, right? For progressive jackpots that only ever increase and never reach a limit, always growing and growing, then this progressive jackpot strategy doesn't work. Don't worry, though. I've never seen a casino use this kind of setup for the progressive slot machine jackpots. Plus, it would be immediately obvious, so you wouldn't waste much time noticing it. My winning slots strategies are based on what the casino has chosen to set up as their business practices. Not every casino has every business practice I've found. They might have up to 3 of the 9 I've uncovered and converted to casino counter strategies for you. Or I could just say advantage plays. So winning progressive jackpots requires a casino which puts a limit on their progressive jackpots. Second, and this is something else that's easy to spot in as little as 2 casino visits, this strategy also doesn't work at casinos that limit their progressive jackpots. At these casinos, the jackpot grows and grows and then stops at a maximum. It has a cap, but then it stays there. As players continue to bet, the jackpot does not progress. Not long ago, Chuck, who is in the live chat, and I saw this at Missouri's Ameristar Riverboat Casino. Well, Chuck noticed after a few visits prior to my visit and told me it was happening when I was there to review that casino. But there is a third casino setup for progressive jackpots, which is the arrangement you must have in order to be able to use this strategy. It's called the must win by must hit by, must award by casino setup. The shortcut available at some casinos is that one way or another, they'll tell you if they have a must win by setup. Here's an example. Switching over to the share and going to the picture. And I want, oops, wrong screen. Apologize for the blurriness. This is a zoomed in picture of a larger display. Can you read that across the bottom of this minor jackpot? Must hit by $38.88. This is on all progressive jackpots in some casinos, not many, some casinos. So all this research of 6 months of going in and trying, what's the current maximum? Did it decrease from the last time? So the last time was, accepted as the maximum until it might get updated later with another maximum as you look again and again and trip after trip and work on your investment into winning at progressive slot machines. Some casinos say what that number that you're trying to estimate at other places, what it is, and then you're off to the races. Well, perhaps that's a gambling analogy, but metaphor, but perhaps not the best one to use here. So first thing, if you're interested in winning at progressive slot machines, see if you've got it easy. See if you've got the additional information that you might find if you're one of the 6 U.S. states that has return statistics. Not everybody does, and we can get by without it. But if your casino has that, you've got a lot of, save time in progressive slots. You might even be interested in like traveling to that state to try the progressive strategy, just to see what it, to do it without having the 6-month investment. So there's aspects of this that I think are important for you. So that's a shortcut. It exists. It's very helpful and will greatly shorten your time investment with getting started as a progressive jackpot slot enthusiast specialist. But if it doesn't exist, it's not the end of the world. You can still take the long way around on this leg of your slots journey. How are we doing on time? Okay. It's a lot like it's like I said, it's about return statistics, and some states are just wonderful, but maybe you don't have it. If your casino doesn't have the convenience of telling you must hit by amounts on each progressive jackpot on a slot machine, then you invest your time and figure out what that is. While doing that, you observe if your casino doesn't have a limit at all, just progresses endlessly until somebody wins, maybe, or if it does have a limit, but it's capped and it's not which means it just stops and it's not a must win by limit. So let's assume you're at a casino which does have a must win by limit, but it isn't posted, like has been reported for Soaring Eagle, a tribal casino in mid-Michigan. How do you proceed? You have 2 more tasks in front of you. First, make as many observations as possible on as many trips as possible to keep track of progressive jackpot amounts. You'll need to note the current progressive jackpot amounts on any slot machine you're interested in. Do this for as many as possible so that by the end of this stage, you can win on as many machines as possible. Besides, over 6 months, the casino might remove a few of them, so you'll want extra. With that information, over time, you'll be able to watch for when a specific progressive jackpot is decreased from your last recorded value. That means someone won that jackpot. This is what you're looking for. Make a note of your last recorded value. Now, maybe someone won that jackpot 5 minutes after you wrote it down on your last prior casino visit. That means you're only getting started, but maybe it was won 5 minutes before you walked up at on this casino visit, or maybe you actually saw somebody won in front of you, which is low odds because everybody's playing 24 hours a day, right? And you just happen to be there is low odds. You don't know which it is. So whether it was just after you last left or just before you just arrived, you don't know which it is. So that's why you have to do this again and again. Eventually, your highest recorded value will be a very good estimate of the must win by amount for that progressive jackpot. Again, this can take months of observation to figure out. Now, there's a missing detail in this description. You always need to check the machine when it is set to the same denomination each time. The progressive jackpot amounts, the wins, will change depending on the denomination chosen. So always make sure that denomination is the same. Otherwise, it's a logistics issue. So this used to not be necessary, but the popularity and availability of multi-denominational slot machines is a trend where they're quickly replacing all penny machines. Now, just one of those multi-denominations is the 1 cent denomination. So the next step, so it's not like we can't play a penny machine. It's just that you can choose 2 pennies or 5 cents or 10 cents on many of these nowadays. And they haven't fully switched them out, but you can see it in some of the numbers that we're showing in Mississippi. They tell you how many they have of the progressive and non-progressives of each denomination. And that's kind of a way to check to see how the nation is going as far as this big switch out, where casinos have learned how to make more money by having a higher denomination available in case people want it, without even having to moving from the machine. So the next step in this process, which all the observations I've just mentioned become unnecessary if your casino displays the must win by amount that I showed you. It's to decide when. So the next step is when to play the machine and try to win that progressive jackpot. How far from the must hit by amount do you want to start playing the machine? Now, this is important. Each bet increases each progressive jackpot on a machine. And if it's not a standalone machine, then each progressive jackpot on all the machines in the network. As a team of one, the easiest way to determine if you're at a standalone slot machine is to watch if the progressive jackpots increase while you're sitting there not betting. They're increasing. It's on a network of some size. The smaller the largest progressive jackpot, the smaller the network. Now, you decide when you want to play. You'll win a progressive jackpot if your bets make the jackpot progress until it goes over the must-win by amount. But you don't make a profit if you spend more than that, then you'll win from the progressive jackpot. That's where your decision lies. The closer it is to the must-win by amount, the less you spend to win it, and therefore the larger your profit. As mentioned, slots enthusiasts interested in winning progressive jackpots are specialists. There are equations which you can use to determine how much you need to spend to advance a progressive jackpot to its must-win by amount. Oh, and you understand that grands and majors and other progressive jackpots on a machine grow by different amounts, and that only one of these progressive jackpots might be approaching its must-win by amount, while the others are not. That means you're funding the progression of jackpots, which you're not going to win in your attempt to win one of them on that machine. All this means you need to spend less than you're trying to win. All this means you need to spend less than you're trying to win to leave the machine with more than you sat down with. Progressive jackpot specialists get good at this calculation. I'd provide you an equation to use, but that's more than we can really get into here since I got like 6 minutes left and I haven't even answered the scrolling screen of live chat comments. But I plan to add it to my next update to my 30 days course materials. So I'm going to check in with a live chat and see what's been going on there. Wow, that's a lot of comments. All right. Let's see if I can get through a few of these. Let's see, everybody says, so I think we're back to where it needs to be. So a couple weeks, Magpie says, a couple weeks ago, I was in the Orleans high limit room that's just off Strip in Las Vegas and thought I saw a team working the $5 progressive carousel. One guy looked at me and nodded. So this is something I wasn't going to bring up unless it was a comment. There's advantage players out there. And one of the things that, I could talk more about the team that's involved in winning these massive jackpots, even the life-changing jackpots. One of the things is somebody could win who's not on the team if they sit down in a machine. And some nefarious things are happening. There is some intimidation going on. You see the must win by number approaching on a progressive jackpot, but you're not on the machine because it's occupied. And there's some bad characters out there who will attempt to intimidate and make concerned whatever that play, just to get them off the machine before it's too late. And some of the advantage players out there who are trying to teach how to do stuff talk about that, and I just find that unacceptable behavior. You can get banned from a casino like that for that kind of behavior. But if you've got a team who you pulled in from another state, they can get banned. They might get banned from the chain. That happens, but maybe you got cousin who never wants to gamble again or something. I don't know. You're right, Big Dog. A lot of people don't care to watch others win. They want to win. People ask me about, well, you're not really credible unless you show yourself winning. And I'm like, how about you listen to what I just said, go to the casino with your $50 or $100, do it, and then you've got cash in your hand. How's that for credibility? Okay. Not that I don't respect the slots channels that are out there. They have a business plan. It's successful. They've worked hard, and I wish them well. But it's not the same thing as what I'm doing. And potentially, the potential audience is shown to be small for people who want to watch others win. So Brian asked. Okay, Kissy Cat just got back from WinStar. I got like 4 minutes. I'm kind of go through these quickly. Going to Kashada tomorrow, so I'm here looking for some tips. So TikTok, maybe buy it. Listen, Kashada, stand on the ramp up into the high limit room. There's a wide opening on the left and a narrow opening on the right. If you go up the narrow doorway, it doesn't have a door on it. It's just a opening with a ramp. That points towards the high limit, points towards the gaming tables on the casino floor. There's 2 machines, one on the end and one just before the end. Play those. I mean, if you play high limit and it's within your budget, that's your tip. Okay, and moving on. What kind of games are teams hitting? It's all math calculation. They need to be able to make money. There needs to be near the must hit by, and so that's the calculation on choosing a game. It's not a lot of people consider the game important. That's on a machine. I couldn't care less. I mean, I have my favorite, which is Wheel of Fortune, but that's only because I won on it, and for other reasons than it was because it was a Wheel of Fortune machine. So, you got to get away from the whole idea of you don't have to. I mean, somebody's got to pay the casino so they can keep the lights on. Maybe that's you. And now we've got offers of people saying, hey, if you need a team member, I'll be happy to be part of it. North End Crime, interesting name, handle. Do you think it's better to double tap the spin button for better odds in winning? It's until the first the random number generator is running at the speed of the computer, which is millions of calculations per second, maybe more, maybe giga. And so if you press the button and if you double tap, that's way later. It accepted the first push of the button. Now, if you're saying, I just want a hand pay, maybe I should make one more bet. Yeah, I've seen twofers come up. Yeah, I've done that myself. One more bet. Yes. I mean, I play slots for so long, my arm starts to ache. I have to switch arms. So double tapping would just be like, I'd lose my strength twice as fast. So, but if you find that it's working, this is something I also say, there's plenty of things going on out there. I found 9 business strategies that I have counter strategies for. There could be more. I haven't been everywhere. It's hard to be everywhere. So if you find something that works and it works consistently, you got it. I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm trying to point out these things and, light your fire and, go forth. It's like being a professor. Go forth and live your career starting with this knowledge. Okay. We are running down to the last few seconds. It looks like I'm caught up. And that's good. Wonderful. So to learn more about my 30 days to play slots smarter and win online course, currently at 50% off for $100 in savings, visit my website at professorslots.com/30 days for a complete description, testimonials, and the valuable bonuses you'll get free with the course, including lifetime access, 1 month free access to my new Slots Enthusiast Growth Network support community, a free PDF of my book, Learning to Win, and spreadsheet templates for slots record keeping for income tax preparation purposes and gameplay analysis. Links to both of the course and the network are available in this video's description. My 30 days to play slots smarter and win online course for slots enthusiasts explains how to win at slot machine casino gambling. There's a lot more to winning than tips and tricks, which are here today and gone tomorrow. Instead, valuable tools and resources help you make the most of your slots journey. Yes, in my course, I go over my 9 winning slot strategies, but before that comes foundational work. Let's say you win and win big because you want to learn because of what you learn in the course. That's great. I'm happy for you. But do you know how to get out of the casino with your winnings? Winnings are great, but then what? Even the most practiced slots enthusiast is journeying into new and unknown territory when they suddenly start winning more than ever. Newbie winners can easily end up spending all their winnings and regret it later. I just had a YouTube comment like just before the show going, well, I lost it all. Thanks for helping win, but I lost it all. Don't regret your losses, rather than learn how to laugh all the way to the bank. See testimonials and more to understand your wise investment in purchasing 30 days to play slots smarter and win at professorslots.com/30 days. Whatever your decision, enjoy moving forward along your slots journey instead of being stuck in one spot, regretfully losing your bankroll. Most first-time winners have no idea how to preserve their gains. This is so important because no matter how much you win, you can easily end up spending it all and regretting it later. So now maybe you want to know, what's my winning slot strategies? I have a lot of free content, which is also in the course, but it's not structured. The free content is not structured as well as the course. So in this playlist right here, I explain each of them, from my 5-spin method through taking advantage of casino promotions and holiday celebrations. It's not what you think, and more. So click this playlist right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for a great show. Bye-bye.